Sasson, no Demko. What can you?
Yeah, Sass is dinged up. So bring Mules up. See what he's got. I'd like to see him play. See how he does out there. And then I forget who's the other guy.
Demko.
Denver's sick. He's not feeling great. And then you got Mizey is. He's feeling better. But like I said, we'll just monitor him. Probably going to shut Petey down. He's getting better, but I don't. At this point, rather him just try to get back stronger. And then
Oman.
I'm just feeling better, but he's obviously not playing. He's out for the year. Heedle's just going through the progression. I think he's putting some pretty good days together. But like I said, why play him? But he's not. I'm not saying he's closer along. I just like the way he's progressing, putting good days together. I just think that's it. I think.
At the time that Petey left the game in New York, did you think that it might end? Was it?
No, I didn't. I didn't seriously. But it was an injury where it wasn't. It was an injury where I don't know if it's sometimes I get in trouble because everybody's different, but also how you react off injuries. So originally I thought it was after a while maybe some pain, but at this point it's progressing, but not at the pace we want. So why even play him? That's kind of where we're at.
Last time we talked about Dakota Joshua probably using these last few games to kind of get his game going. Clearly he's up to his game. Just what are you seeing with Dakota in terms of what he's done on the ice? And how
I think the little things that we've talked about all year. We always we laugh, but he's actually moving his feet. He's anticipating. I think that's a big guy when you anticipate, know where the puck's going. He can get body position. He's holding on to pucks down low. And that line's been really good. He's added to that line where they're kind of an identity. They've done a great job in the O-zone of holding pucks. And this is big for Dakota because I think if he can string some good games, get some confidence going this summer. Work on his skating, work on the puck touches, work on his confidence. Like I said, he's a huge piece for us going forward.
We often talk about the role of spoilers at sort of this late stage. Does that enter in the equation? Do you care about the implications for your opponent tonight, or is it really internal and just worrying more about what you guys are doing?
Well, I think we owe it to the NHL and to give us our best game. I know Minnesota, tough loss yesterday. They're going to be an angry team. They're going to be high alert. And I've always felt that you just got to, you're the integrity of the game. We got to show up, and we've been showing up, and there's no different not showing up tonight. And if you look at guys like Ratty and Carlson, Junior, man, it's these guys are playing, to open up eyes. But we got, we have veteran guys here that owe them to give them their best game. So that's why I think we're doing, we're coming up with some good efforts. I know it's, I know everybody said it doesn't matter, but it does matter. It matters to us. It's building blocks for them. It's building blocks for the organization.
Tonight, what are the expectations?
I don't know him quite. I knew him a little bit in the training camp. I obviously just from tabs from talking to RJ and stuff. But a really intelligent guy that can skate. He's got some really good attributes here, and I think it's important a guy like that he gets a taste here, and then what he sees after tonight, what he's got to work on through the summer. So, and plus he's got the big playoff games coming with Abbotsford. So, I think there's something there with this kid.
And to put him in the spot it looks like you'll put him in, what is that? Is that just about putting him in a spot to succeed, or based on his skill or talent?
Well, he can skate and he can move the puck, and I think Jake and Bess can protect him a little bit, and talk to him on the bench, and encourage him to make a play. I just don't want him to go out there. He's got two guys that can score goals. Don't be dumping pucks in all the time. If you get a chance, skate, get the interior. Kickouts to those guys, find those guys in the slot, and then go to the net. You don't want to give those guys too much information. I think the young guys, when you give them less, obviously you got to work with them. But I think if you have them not think a lot in the game, it really helps them progression.
Rick, you guys were able to keep Quinn under 25 the other night. He played almost 10 in the first period, but was that a conscious decision now that?
Yeah, I mean the guy's he's always looking at you, get me the hell out there. I want to kill him sometimes, but he's just that guy. He wants to play. We got to be conscious, but also listen, you protect him. Like footy's a lot of D-zone. Offensive face-offs. Obviously the power play. He's a guy that you let him stay out there a little longer than the other guys. So there's times where it's the minutes are long, but it's not like we're putting him against big guys and he's got to take diesel. You know, we're protecting him, but he's also getting minutes. So obviously we don't want to kill the kid either. But I get what you're saying.
A month ago, you know, we were peppering you with questions. I think you were sort of beating your head against the wall about why this team couldn't score goals. Yeah. And now you're almost unstoppable. What's changed though in your mind? It's allowed you guys to score.
Well, I'll be honest with you, we've stressed it more than ever. Some stuff, interior stuff. You know, I thought the Sherwood goal to, I know it's a simple play to Jake, but Jake gets in the inside, looks like he's covered. You know, Schurzy makes a fake, goes his back and throws it to him. I like that play. You know, usually a guy would just throw it at the net or just throw it behind the net. I know it's a simple play, but it's beating your check, and it's like basketball. You know, a guy's covered, but the guy still wants the ball. I think we got to have more of that attitude. I think the D, the last month, 6 weeks, you know, a little personnel driven, it seems like our D are getting assists on a lot of goals. It means a lot, right? They're catching the puck, they're walking the blue, and they're drawing two guys to them, and then they're giving it to somebody instead of just giving it to the first guy they give. You don't beat their structure. So I got to give the D a lot of credit of helping open up other options to give other guys better chances.
Rick, on the other side, I know he's not playing tonight, but Fleury. You guys have worked together in Pittsburgh. What can you say about his career? Because this will be the last time coming through.
One of my favorite guys, I'm not a goalie coach, one of my favorite guys to be part of a coaching team, to actually be on the same team as a coach. Phenomenal guy. When you talk about a team guy, he's the ultimate team guy. You like the dictionary, I can name you a bunch of players, but he's up there. Thinks about the team, always thinks that every goal is his fault, never blames his defense. I don't think he's ever looked at a defenseman. You know, I know some goalies will look at the D after a goal like, what are you doing? He never does that. Like, he's a gem. I love the kid.
And, you know, we talk a lot about Crosby, Ovechkin from this area, but not a lot about Fleury. Is that because I guess he's a goaltender? So where would you kind of put him in this last 2 decades on just the list of great players to come through the league?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's a winner. I mean, some of the games he's played. I remember Game 7 against Washington. He was playing, and Washington was all over us. I don't know what the shot total was, but they could have been 5-0, and he kept us in. And I remember talking to Mike Sullivan after the first. I said, "We're going to win this game now." And you know, we took over the game the second, third. We beat a great Washington team in the Game 7. But if it wasn't for Fleury, we wouldn't have advanced. So that was one of the memories I had for how good he is.
Rick, a couple of years ago, you were only 15 or so games into coaching this team.
Yeah.
But when they were eliminated, one of the things you sort of noted was, you know, I feel for the guys, but you've got a long summer now. A lot of teams won't. You've got to use that. Do you come out with the same message now that you're sort of more established, or do you have to tweak it given sort of how trying this season has been?
I think you got to tweak a little bit of it. I mean, we had a slogan to be there, embrace the hard, and we got to take a deep dive. Did we? Things like that. I mean, that's for another conversation. But I think it's important for these players to know that the coaching staff's pushing, and we got, you know, we did a video session today. Usually, you know, maybe some other, I don't know what other coaches do, but yeah, let's get on with it. Just have some fun. You can still have fun by competing. I think fun's competing. Like, who wants to play a game that it doesn't? You know, it means a lot to Minnesota. So why can't it mean a little bit to us? So we give a crap about it, and you get a good taste in your mouth, even in the summer, because that sucks. I mean, I took a picture of our dressing room. Not the fault of the guys. It was 2.5 years ago. There's golf clubs in our because they had a golf game, you know, 2 days later, and I took a picture of it, and it's a lasting picture. So can we use those kind of moments to drive your summer to not let this happen again? And then all the other stuff we'll figure out.
Did you play any land sports growing up?
A little bit of land sport. It's been a long, long time.
For $1 million. Good luck, Sydney. Holy shit, man. Of course. Dude.
Generational talent.
Thanks for liking the video and subscribing.